Hello, and welcome to Fuji Electric's online training for the FRENIC ACE. In this quick training presentation, we'll be talking about the advantages and features of the FRENIC ACE, where it lands in our drive solution lineup, model number variations, advanced features both standard and optional, and a whole lot more. Okay, let's get started. The FRENIC ACE offers all the features and functionality we loved about the Multi, while adding even more, like up to 40 horsepower as a standard product. That is twice the capacity range of the FRENIC Multi. We've added dual ratings for both constant and variable torque, customizable logic, PID sleep mode, safe torque off, permanent magnet motor control, and an RS-45 communication port built right into the terminal board. With this expanded functionality and variable torque rating, there are even fan and pump applications where the ACE could be a better solution than our FRENIC Echo, while maintaining a lower cost. Let's talk about some of the big advantages you get from such a little drive. Dual rating. A dual rating means it is great in a large range of applications. Our high carrier frequency high duty, HHD, offers 150% overload for 60 seconds and 200% for a half second, taking care where constant torque is required. Our high carrier frequency normal duty, HND, offers 120% overload for 60 seconds. This takes care of most fan and pump applications and does it in a smaller frame size than the HHD. Customizable logic. Offering 200 steps of customizable logic inside the drive can reduce the need for a PLC, saving the customer both space and money. Enhanced functionality and interface. The easy-to-use menus and submenus you already know from our other drive solutions have been adapted to the FRENIC ACE. We are now offering an option for the TP-A1E2C LCD keypad, making for an even better and more intuitive interface with the drive. Alright, let's talk about the 14 letters and numbers that make up the model number. The first three will always be FRN. This lets us know that it's in the FRENIC family of drives. The 4th through 7th number will reflect the capacity code. This will vary based on frame size. Our 8th, 9th, 10th letter number sequence, E2S, is used to identify it as the FRENIC ACE in the FRENIC family. The 12th slot is for the supply voltage code. 2 is for 230 volt class, ranging from 200 to 240 volt, 3-phase input power. 4 is used when supplying 3-phase, 380 to 480 volts. And 7 is used when supplying single-phase, 200 to 240 volt power. This brings us to the final two spots. The GB is what we'll be offering in North America. The FRENIC ACE is a dual-rated drive, meaning you get two different capacity options in one drive. HHD, also known as high carrier frequency high duty, constant torque, and general purpose, offers an overload of 150% for 60 seconds and 200% for half second. This is often used in conveyors, cranes, food processors, machine tool, packaging, and many other applications. H&D, also referred to as high carrier frequency normal duty, variable torque, and fan and pump duty, offers 120% overload for 60 seconds, making it ideal for most pump applications. Both HHD and HND are designed for ambient temperatures up to 122 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's take a look at the 230 volt model. On this chart we see the horsepower rating for both HND and HHD on the left, ranging from a quarter to 40 horsepower variable torque and an eighth to 30 horsepower constant torque. Next, we have the full load amp rating. This is important because you should always size a drive based on amps and voltage, not horsepower. Next, we have the model number, like we saw in the previous slide, except this time the capacity and voltage codes are filled in. We're going to go ahead and skip to the last box. That gives us the part number to add a NEMA 1 option kit for NEMA 1 and UL Type 1 protection. So for example, you need to drive for a constant torque application, run the 7.5 horsepower, 17.9 amp three-phase motor. The drive also needs to have a NEMA 1 rating for the environment it's going in. Starting in the left column, we find the 7.5 horsepower under HHD. Because we need to size the drive based on motor amps and not horsepower, we need to make sure that 7.5 horsepower is large enough. Moving over to the HHD column under rated current, we see that this covers up to 25 amps. So if we move over, we see our model number is an FRN 0030 E2S-2GB. And now we need to add the NEMA 1 option kit. So the model number for that will be NEMA 1-40E2-24. Here we have all the information from our last slide, only now it applies to our 460 volt models. For this example, we'll say that an exhaust fan application is using a 25 horsepower, 34 amp, 460 volt motor. Because the exhaust fan is a variable torque application, we can use the HND rating. We can see that the 25 horsepower ACE is good for up to 38 amps, so we can select the FRN 0044 E2S-4GB. A big advantage of the FRENIC ACE is its offering of 200 steps of customizable logic using 55 logic functions and a quick processing speed as low as 2 milliseconds. This can remove the need for other costly and space-consuming products such as PLCs and smart relays. Writing a program is simple using the FRENIC Visual Customizer software, a free download to your PC. Let's talk about some of the features. Using Fuji's proprietary dynamic torque vector control, you can get 200% torque all the way down to a half a hertz. We've also added permanent magnet motor control to this drive, putting it leaps and bounds ahead of other drives in its class. We give you superior functionality like 3 nonlinear volts per hertz pattern, servo lock, hoist function, traverse function, droop control, make it a great candidate for crane and hoist applications. For your OEM builds, we have constant peripheral speed control, pattern operation, analog signal input calculation, hit mechanical stop, pulse train input, and a switch between analog and current monitor. Through encoder options, you can achieve synchronous motor operations and keep everything safe with our password protection. The ACE offers expanded safety functions like Safe Torque Off. We've also added 2 channels of RS-485 communications. The RS-485 communication ports are available in the keypad slot as well as the terminal board, making it possible to communicate using Modbus or Fuji FRENIC Loader software without having to remove the keypad. High connectivity through various communication protocols is something we're going to discuss in the next few slides. More I/O than the FRENIC Multi. ACE offers a reprogrammable forward and reverse terminal, plus 5 additional digital inputs. That is 7 digital inputs for general programming, or they can be used with our 200 steps of customizable logic. A dedicated 0 to 10 volt DC, both positive and negative input, plus a 4 to 20 input that can be converted to a 0 to 20 milliamp or another 0 to 10 volt input. 2 transistors and a Form C relay output for digital monitoring statuses of both typical and customizable logic conditions. The FM2 terminal can be configured for voltage or milliamp analog output, and the FM terminal can be easily set for voltage, milliamp, or pulse train output. ACE also offers a 0 to 10 volt DC power supply for potentiometer and a 24 volt output power supply for up to 100 milliamps. Don't forget those Safe Torque inputs and the option for RS communication through the keypad port and the terminal. 6 frame styles covering up to 40 horsepower high normal duty. And don't forget about those UL and NEMA Type 1 kits. Options to fit a range of specifications and requirements. For communications, we cover DeviceNet, CC-Link, Profibus, Ethernet, Profinet, and CAN-Open. ACE can expand the number of digital and analog inputs to really give you the most out of your customizable logic. For high-end applications, we offer options for 5, 12, and 15 volt PG encoder feedback. Get the most from the keypad when you add on options like the multifunction A1 or USB keypad. ACE packs a lot into a small space, so an adapter may be needed when adding communication encoder options. We talked a lot about how the ACE stacks up to the multi. Now let's have a quick glance at a side-by-side. Horsepower. With dual ratings, we're now covering up to 40 horsepower, where the multi stopped at 20. All of the same control options from the multi have moved over to the ACE, as well as adding permanent magnet motor control as a standard, and with options, we can do vector control with encoder feedback. Some other specifications of note: the maximum frequency is now 500 Hz, and we've added the safe torque off, and of course, let's not forget about those 200 steps of programmable, customizable logic. Thank you for joining us on Fuji Electric's Online Academy. Be sure to check out our other training modules, and don't forget to test your product aptitude with our interactive quizzes.